Hi, everybody. Good to see you this morning. What a wonderful day to be alive. I'm glad you're here. So I want to take a survey. How many of you have ever done a prayer, spiritual mind treatment, whatever it happens to be, and you didn't get the result you prayed for? Okay, well, I see a few hands didn't go up, so I figure the ones that didn't raise their hands are either have achieved fully evolved spirits on the spirit on this planet, and I have no idea why you're still here, or you don't pray, because I know that I've certainly had prayers that didn't show up the way I imagined. Not that I'm saying that there's something wrong there. I'm saying there's something to learn from that. And that's what I want to talk about today. Well, I want to give you an example first of this, of a prayer, because I just want to get this off my heart. That when I was much younger and married to a different woman and had a very different life, my wife's brother's wife was pregnant, and apparently there were problems with that pregnancy. So my wife came to me, and she was Catholic, I was Baptist, and she said, pray for that baby to be healthy and whole when it's born. And I did. I got in touch with that God of my Baptist understanding, and I prayed earnestly and long and hard, and I just really asked that that baby be okay. And that baby was born still. And what I'm left with, well, obviously the God that I was told about doesn't really like me and isn't interested in fulfilling my desires. And I was left with that for a long time. So this idea of having a prayer that didn't manifest the way you prayed it can be a very deep idea in a person's life. But I believe there's a remedy. I think I know what was missing. And that's what I want to share with you today. So I'll give you the title of my talk, Finding God in Everything, no matter what. So I want to begin this conversation by looking at those words in white across the bottom of the screen. No matter what. What does that mean? How are we supposed to do that? So it's not in any way that treatment doesn't work. But for treatment to really work, one must be completely committed to that outcome at every cell of their being. I want to tell you a little secret. It's easier to manifest something in your life if you go to a practitioner, because they got nothing on your stuff. Unless you go to a practitioner you're married to, that can be problematic. But they don't care. They just know the truth about you. It comes to them very easy. They don't know all the details of everything that didn't work. So you go to a practitioner and they treat you, and you get a manifestation. Really, it happens. And what happens after that? Well, the practitioner goes on to other things, focusing on other ways, and now it's up to you. You're going to keep it that way, or you're going to go back to the way it was. Or something else that you like less. So what I've come to understand is that when we place upon life a condition and we say no matter what, it makes it change. So of course, to understand this, I went to Google. Did you know that I use it as a noun there, but you know that you can go Googling? That Google is also a verb? Wow. Amazing when we turn our nouns into verbs. Okay, so this is what I want to share with you. Here it is. This came off of Google, or actually, yes, the internet. I'll just call it that. If you say that you're going to do something no matter what, you're emphasizing that you're definitely going to do it, even if there are obstacles and difficulties. Does that sound reasonable? What's missing? Nobody? Okay. Let me show you what's missing. Oh, yeah. We always want to make the problems out there, away from us. That's happening to me. I'm being forced to. Something outside is making my life not work. No, not even a little bit. And the way to turn that around is to stay with the idea that you're going to achieve what you're going to achieve, you're going to do what you're going to do, you're going to have what you claim, no matter what. No matter what. That changes the whole equation. And it's important to do that. It's important to do that if you want to achieve things in your life because you're in charge. It's your life. There's nothing out there that's making your life not work. I have such good examples of this in my life. You know, I probably told you a year ago that Devon and I were working on a website. And we've developed this great website, but it's not done because there's little snippet things around that need to be done. One of them is that I'm to create 3 2-minute videos. That should be easy, right? Okay, so somebody got in my face recently. I don't need to go into who it was. Somebody I love. It wasn't Barbara. And they came to me with this intuitive knowledge that, and not knowing of this story I'm telling you, not knowing about my plans with this website and my speaking plans. She comes to me and intuitively says, you have to do the work that's yours to do. Oh, I know what that means. Okay, thank you. A week later, calls again and says, you have to do that stuff now. Okay. So we chatted, and I confessed that I have these 3 2-minute videos. And I said, okay, on Friday, I will have one of them done. I give you my word. Okay. I sit down. I handle the other stuff in the morning, noon, straight up noon. I say, okay, 2 minutes. I promised to do 2 minutes on a video. I can do this. So I started writing it. How long does it take to write a 2-minute talk? So I'm writing, and Barbara comes in with another project. I'm busy! Okay, bring it in. You're right. That's very important. And we did what she had to do. And then I went back to it. And once I had it written, I sat at my office. I'm doing this on Zoom. And I said, you know what Zoom is, right? Okay, good. If you don't, Google it. So I set up a Zoom on my computer, and I see me, and I like it. And I've got the notes from my script up on the screen. How hard could this be? 40 takes later. That's something around 6 o'clock. I emailed it to Dewan and said, okay, what do you think? So even the little stuff. And here's the important part of this, is that several times in the midst of that, I got so frustrated. You know, I'd start over and the first 3 words were wrong. And it took about 7 clicks to get back to start a new video and to erase all that stuff. And so I would do that. And I'd be back and I'd smile and say, okay. And we'd start the video. I was alone. I'd start the video and go, hi, my name is, it was ridiculous. So, of course, I went into prayer. And knowing that this was my talk, I said, I am going to make this video no matter what. Another 15, 20 tries, and I got it. And the point, yeah, I got it. I got my 2-minute video. It's really good, Devon. I know you haven't looked at it yet. Yeah, tomorrow, really. Doesn't matter. I did that first one, and that was really important. So it doesn't matter what it is. If you set the standard that no matter what, you're going to get the results you want because you aren't allowed to give up. You aren't allowed to say, well, maybe tomorrow. No, it's now. It's now. No matter what, I can do this. You can do this. Whatever it is, you can do it. No one's in your way but you. I'm not even in your way, although it may seem that way at times. The truth is it's up to you. Now, when you put the words finding God in everything, that's a big deal. That's a lot. And now you're going to find God in everything no matter what, which means the hard stuff is not necessarily going to get any easier, because this really is up to you. This is up to you. And when you think it's not, when you think that somehow God is making you or forcing you or getting in your way, it looks ridiculous. Let me demonstrate how stupid this looks. Blaming and judging God, which is what you'd be doing if you're blaming and judging anything, right? So try these on. It's God's fault. I hate you, God. Now, some people do that. They do that because they're lost and they don't know what can get them out of what they're in. They're lost. So that one really does happen. God really screwed this one up. You know you said those words less the word God. You put somebody else's name in there, and guess what? They're God too. God makes me so mad. What a jerk. Silly, huh? Let me give you one more silly one and we'll stop. If it weren't for God, I'd be okay. It doesn't work to blame anybody, because who you're blaming is the divine. It doesn't work. So if you're going to find God in everything, you have to find the essence of God. There's not a shortcut here. And how can that be when things screw up, when life looks messy, when life isn't working for us, when we don't know what to do? Well, it's not going to work ever to blame God. It's going to work to find God and to find the real God that exists as everything. Because God is pure divinity. God is perfect, flawless, beautiful, fantastic. That's what God is. Ernest Holmes called God good. Maybe that's good enough. But whatever you see there, whatever you know of the divine, you must go into the muck and mire, as Emerson says, and pull out the beautiful thing, the thing that shines, the thing that's important, the thing that makes a difference. That's the work. That's what we're looking for. So how we do it in our lives is we have a desire. I've talked about desires up here a lot, so I won't overdo this. But the idea that you have a desire is wonderful. We should all have desires for things to work in our lives. Sometimes for things to go away, but that's not that hard. Just turn away from it. Don't give it any more energy. But the thing that you want in your life, you have to really embody it. You have to see it. You have to know it. You have to be able to smell it and hear it and make it real to your senses. And when you do that and you treat it and you know it, you get it because you've embodied it. And when you add this idea of no matter what, then you're committed to find God. And if you can find God, your life's going to work. It's going to work. And I know what you're thinking. Well, what about the big things in life that seem so screwed up? It doesn't matter. It makes your heart hurt. And y'all know what I'm talking about. This time, I'm talking about El Paso, Dayton, and the things there that have happened. People losing their lives, people's lives changed forever that stayed. How could God be in that? How could we find God in that horrible thing? Well, I've prayed on this. I've looked at this. And I have my thoughts on it. You may not agree. But it's the same answer I had for the Holocaust, where thousands of people died. And what I understand is that these beloveds, these fathers and mothers and children and brothers and sisters and grandparents that are no longer in this physical plane, came in knowing what they were going to do. Maybe not consciously, but at some superior level of consciousness, they knew what they were doing. And they were not victims. They stepped into this in that moment and took those bullets into their bodies and laid their bodies down so that we would get our act together and start stopping this. I want you to know that I have never been a vigilant supporter of the Second Amendment, but I've never really been against it. But what I know is that the people that wrote that amendment into our Constitution didn't know about assault weapons. They weren't thinking about that. They used muskets. They had to load them one at a time. They had to shoot it and then take it and put another one and shoot it again. It took a while. None of these things were around. So what we have to do, and what I believe that we will do, because it is our requirement to resolve this no matter what, is that we will change and we will make assault weapons military grade so that civilians don't own them. Now that's going to tick off a lot of Second Amendment people. It's going to people are not going to be happy over at the National Rifle Association. But we can't keep doing this. We can't keep letting this happen. Something's got to change. It's got to change. And it's got to change no matter what. And for all I understand, God is in the midst of this that's happening, going, hey, can't you get it? We got to get it. That we need to change a little bit. I have no problem with people having guns. I have guns. I like the idea of people being able to defend themselves. But who needs to defend themselves with an assault rifle? No. You can't own a bazooka. You can't own an operational tank. There's lots of things we as civilians can't own. They're military things. Let's let assault rifles be military things. And when we do that, we will have found God in the midst of all these who have laid their lives down, asking us, please, to get our attention straight so that we can move on. Now, I'm not suggesting that what I'm saying is going to change everything of people dying. There's lots of other weapons. There's all kinds of things. And even if you got rid of all the guns, there would be other ways for people to rage on each other. But not this way. This isn't working. We got to do better. So you may disagree with me, and that's what I hold up, because what I have to do when these things and other things happen in my life is find God. I have to find God. Because if I can't find God, I'm lost. I don't want to be lost. So I'm going to insist that I find God no matter what. So there's this thing in the New Thought teachings from one of the earliest teachers, in fact, the first president of the International New Thought Alliance. His name is Judge Thomas Troward. And he talked a lot about first cause and second cause. And this is a good way for you to delineate this in your thinking. I got to quit, I know. There's this idea that first cause is when you are paying attention, when you know what you want, and you claim that into your life, no matter what. He pretty much says that. And then we have all this insidious stuff that follows, called secondary causation. Well, Troward speaks to this so clearly in his book, The Edinburgh Lectures on Mental Science, that I had to give this to you this morning. So stick with me. This is one sentence, by the way. If we regard the fulfillment of our purpose to be contingent upon any circumstances, past, present, or future, we are not making use of first cause. We have descended this to the level of secondary causation. Secondary causation, which is the region of doubts, fears, and limitations, all of which impressing upon the universal subjective mind with the inevitable result that it will build up corresponding external conditions. So, if we deal with the issue of young people coming up with an assault rifle and going into a shopping mall and shooting a bunch of people, we have descended to the level of secondary causation if we're going to stay in that awful feeling of that. We're supporting it happening more. So our job is not to, but to know the truth that life is changing, that our laws are changing, that we're evolving as a species, and that we can do this better. And insist on that. You don't have to go lobby Washington for this to work. You just have to believe it. And in the same way, you have to believe in your life That when you are afraid, when you're confused, when you have some limiting thought, it's holding you back. It's holding you back from being who you are and bringing you more of the stuff you don't want. So stop it. Stay in first cause. And here's the deal. Find God in everything, no matter what. I love you very much. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Barbara Waterhouse.
And I'm John Waterhouse. Thank you for watching this message today.
Through our website, cslasheville.org, we have over 1,000 messages, classes, and New Thought books, all to download at no charge to anyone.
Producing this incredibly valuable collection of ideas is really making a difference in the world. It's changing lives everywhere.
Please go to our website, cslasheville.org, and click the Donate button. You can support this life-changing ministry, and when you do, we'll send you a note of thanks and also put you on our daily prayers.
By doing this, you're helping to raise the consciousness of people across the entire globe. We're changing lives together, those lives that are being more prosperous, more healthy, and more joyous. Thank you for being a part of this important work and supporting what we do here at CSL Asheville.
Thank you.